There's the human story that's going on of the person getting in a bad accident and all of the things that means. Then there's the deeper layer, soul level learning that we usually don't even know we are improving or upgrading in our lives, upgrading the ways that we treat others, upgrading the ways we feel about ourselves, especially when we choose to accept the upgrades and the up levels. Welcome to Embodying You, a podcast of spiritual exploration where nothing is off limits. You'll hear raw, behind the scenes stories from people awakening to their soul's path and how they became the healers, mystics, and intuitives they are today. You'll also experience real-time intuitive sessions and healings where struggles transform into breakthroughs that you can bring into your own life. Along the way, you just might recognize yourself in the stories shared. This is Embodying You. Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Embodying You podcast. I'm Tiffany Hart, your host. And today, what we're going to be talking about is this concept that everything happens for a reason. This is a concept that people throw around, that they'll say, and will believe it on some level, but then when things happen, there is a disconnect between it actually being true, that this thing that is happening in your life is truly happening for a reason. And there's also a part of the brain that's like, why would this bad thing happen? What purpose could this serve? When good things happen, it's pretty easy for us to honestly not really think much about it beyond, oh my gosh, that was really cool. I'm so glad that happened. And when bad things happen, again, there can be a disconnect. And so as someone who sees clients regularly, who are humans, right? Who have human lives, who have good things happen, bad things happen, hard things happen, relationship issues, all sorts of things happening in their lives. Because again, we're living the human life, okay? We are spirits in human bodies. So we are having the human experience. And I can, and anyone who has harnessed their intuition, because we all have intuition, but anyone who's harnessed it to be able to, well, this is a conversation for another day, but basically you can train your intuition. You can learn to trust your intuition more, and you can read into situations and get the actual truth behind it, get the actual God truth behind it, or higher self truth or soul truth, however you want to word it, that feels good in your body. Because I'll say this, like I've said in other podcasts, in case you haven't listened before, in case this is your first episode, hello, welcome, that I say God a lot. I used to not be able to say God. I had such wounding around that word that I only said universe, or I said source, or something like that. I've gotten to where I really like the word God. For me personally, it's not in the religious sense. It is just a word that honestly feels really good in my body. So when I say God, if you don't resonate, you can do what I used to do when I used to attend Codependence Anonymous meetings, and they would read the whole thing at the beginning and it was talking about God this, God that. I would just replace it with universe. I would just replace it in my head with universe. And then I was able to still get the benefits of going to Coda, even though I didn't resonate with them, with it talking about God within the intro. Okay, where we're going first is a couple of different situations that have come up lately with friends and clients. So I have a friend who's having a very hard time in life right now, a very hard time on the human plane right now. The way that she feels is that everything is being taken from her. Marriage, kids, friends, everything is being taken from her. And when I look in at the sole reason of why is this happening. It is so she will learn to really love herself and concentrate on herself, because she has put herself on the back burner for a very long time, And her soul mission on this planet is so important that what her highest self is trying to get her to do is to let go so that she can focus on herself. And then she'll be able to have everything that she wants. And so on the human plane, we can definitely, because of our own past, our own childhood wounding, the way we grew up, and maybe also if we have not known how powerful doing the inner work is and actually like changing all of the things that happen in our life, we can get stuck in an old pattern. So in this instance, what I'm being told to share here, without again outing anything of anybody's, is that, meaning like any private information or anything like that, because I could be talking about anybody with this, is that there have been points where she was being gently led to stop putting everyone else in front of her and start to love herself more. But for various reasons, instead, it was like a buckling down, what is the word? Digging my toes in the sand kind of thing of, I'm going to throw myself into these other people even more. And one day, when the kids are gone, when everything is different, I will take care of myself. 6-7 years from now, I will take care of myself. And that is not what our souls want for us. It is a soul lesson. It is something. So for her, for example, this is something that her soul has come here to understand. And all of our timelines are already chosen before we get here. The free will is in this timeline, in this very moment right now. You're in a timeline where you can choose in every moment, okay, what is my choice going to be? What is my choice going to be? But you have all these different timelines. There are high timelines, low timelines, in the middle timelines, all of them. And you can make free will decisions of basically which timeline are you going to get on. That's why they talk about timeline jumping. It's a real thing. You can just spiral up to the next timeline. Just jump on up there. It is a real thing. Time is not linear, and we can make the decision at any point to be different, to act different. And so they're showing me right now, for example, in this scenario, if all of the how do I want to word this? Because none of this is about blaming anyone for where they are, because all of it is a part of the soul lesson. Okay. All of it. Even the things that we don't realize we're doing to ourselves, that we just don't realize it. That basically, if at some of these turning points when she decided, no, I'm not working on me, damn it, I'm going to look at these kids, or I'm going to look at something else in my life, or I'm going to throw myself into my friends, or whatever it is. I can see right now that there were at least 3 really big turning points where if she would have said, okay, all right, I don't understand it, but I'm going to work on myself, she'd be in a different position right now. Even though right now this person feels like she's in the worst possible place in her life and cannot understand the meaning behind it, cannot connect with the meaning behind it, cannot connect with the truth of, I am being asked to love me. I am being asked to, okay, just let go. I'm at a point now where I am being forced to work on me. And so what would happen if I said, okay, you know what? Fuck all of it. Hands off the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel, hands off the wheel. I'm going to work on me. Everything would start to shift. Would it shift immediately? No. But over time, as the wounds, as she gets help, as she has people in her corner helping her to love herself more. That's really what it all comes down to, is loving herself more. And it's that way for all of us, by the way. It's part of why my business is called Embodying Wholeness. The work that I do with clients, if you were to find me on Instagram or anything like that, it's Embodying Wholeness. And it's because we're meant to embody full love. I mean, I went back to my maiden name, Hart. Tiffany Hart is my maiden name. And it really is what we are being called to get back to, love of ourselves. And here's the thing. We are actually covered up. If we do not feel love for ourselves, it is because we are covered up, whether it's over the top of us, because we can have actual energetic veils. We can have energetic anchors and hooks, and we can have like all these things that, even though I'm saying energetic, they are just as real. I mean, this table that my laptop and my microphone is sitting on is energy. We know this from science class. It's actually empty space. It's actually, what is it? Molecules, I think. Forgive me if I have the wrong word, but they're vibrating together very, very close, and they appear solid, but they are not. It is empty space. It is empty space, and we are empty space. And so things can also get trapped within our body that's not ours, that is of other people's. So when we fall out of love with ourselves, it is because of our trauma that we have experienced, and also traumas that we have absorbed from other people. So there are so many ways of going about unveiling yourself, really uncovering the real you. It takes bravery though, because right now, this friend who has the biggest fucking heart you've ever seen, she is pure magic. She is so intuitive. She has been here for me, in so many ways throughout the years. She cannot see her own magic right now. And I'm telling you right now, this woman is meant to spread so much love and magic to the world, but we cannot spread our love in the true sense of it. In the true sense, if we do not love ourselves first. We have to give to ourselves first. We have to fill our cups before we give to others. And I've tried this both ways, you guys. I've tried this both ways. I have worked with clients just going from one thing, then sitting down and getting centered and going right into session with them. And then afterwards, not really doing anything for myself again. And I paid the price. And so now, before my client session this morning, I sat down and I got clear on myself and love for myself. I cleared any energy that I was meant to. I sat before her session with love for her and what she most needed, asking God, asking higher frequencies, what is it that she's needing to know, needing to hear? And then before sitting here talking with you, I did the same thing. I didn't go straight from client session to podcast recording. Now, a piece of me wanted to, but I reminded myself, no. Close out your own energy. Give yourself love after that client session. Then, and really, again, it's because I gave so much, and now I've got to fill myself back up. And then now here before this, I did the same thing. I sat with love for you all and everyone that would listen. And I asked, what is it they most need to know, that they most need to hear? And these are the stories that came up. Okay, they're bringing me to the other story. And again, I'm asking them how to tell it in a way where I am absolutely not giving any information out, because again, it is God telling me what you all need to hear. All of you listening are meant to hear what is being said right now. All right. The other thing is, I had a client who had a family member get in a bad accident. And I was meant to help her realize why this happened, why this really bad accident happened. Oh, I'm getting chills even right now. As I was channeling for her why it happened, I had chills absolutely rippling through my body. And those of you who, everyone has had an instance where you felt chills. Maybe you were listening to a really good song and you were singing and you're really feeling it and you gave yourself chills, not because your voice is so amazing, although it may be, but just because you were feeling it. And there are times too when someone tells us something, or we're talking to someone and we get chills, or we get watery eyes, or we yawn or burp, or there are different ways that our body is our intuition. And so there are multiple ways that intuition can come through our bodies as confirmation. Well, as I was channeling for her, oh my gosh, the chills were rippling. So this family member got in a really bad accident. And yes, there's the human story that's going on. There's the human story that's going on of the person getting in a bad accident and all of the things that means. Then there's the deeper layer, soul level learning that we usually don't even know we are improving or upgrading in our lives, upgrading the ways that we treat others, upgrading the ways we feel about ourselves. We usually just don't know, because those changes happen in our lives, and especially when we choose to accept the upgrades and the up levels. And so for her, it was directly related to her soul purpose and how she is meant to work with women in this lifetime. This one instance is going to completely change the trajectory of her soul path. Like, she is timeline jumping, boom, 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 boom. And the person involved in the accident has all of her own reasons, has all of their own reasons why they are having the accident. But God is so smart, consciousness is so smart, the universe, however you want to say it, that it all is interwoven. It's never, oh, okay, that thing happened to that person because they needed this lesson. If you are seeing it or hearing about it, or it's directly affecting you, I mean, it is in your awareness. So it is also for you. Literally everything that you see or feel or hear or whatever it is also for you. Some things feel bigger, some things are very small, but it is all for you. Remember, we all live in our own version of the Truman Show. I live in the Tiffany Show. You live in your own show. Everything you see or feel is for you, is for you. And generally, it is to help you up level and upgrade towards your soul mission, even the hard things. And so on the soul level, the person getting in the accident agreed at the way this would be brought to the other person. Like, all right, I'm going to have these soul lessons over here, and you're going to have these soul lessons over here. Oh yeah, and this is really going to help me upgrade my soul level lesson and help me embody at an even deeper level relationship with women in the ways that I am meant to hold women. So that was one of the main things. And that was an instance where something that is really hard happens, and there's a deeper level meaning other than, I don't understand why this is happening. Well, let's see what else. If this is your first time, I'm always tuned in to what stories need to be told, what needs to be said. That's the way that I have learned that my personal intuition comes through. There's a lot of personal storytelling, and I'm a 1-3 in human design, which means I'm a personal profile, and I have the storytelling gate. And I actually have the channel. And the channel, the first time that I read about it, the way that I interpreted it was it's storytelling about my past in order to help people. And so that's how a lot of this comes through. So, what is wanting to be said next? I just keep hearing trust yourself. Yes, they're talking to me because when I got on here, I wasn't given information really about what we were sharing, except I knew the general topic, but I wasn't told the stories until literally right before those two that I already said were the two that they said those two need to be shared because they're big. And then they said, besides that, you're just going to channel all of it. So, okay. And they're also talking to you. Trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. Sometimes when things happen in your life, there can be the inclination to tell yourself, oh, I don't know why that's happening. But if you just take a moment to sit, take some deep breaths, maybe even get in the bath, it just depends on what it is. You can drop into stillness enough to hear the message. I used to just go and lay down on my bed and I would ask a question and I would concentrate maybe on my fan or on my clock and imagine my thoughts leaking out of my head. And even if something just came in for a split second, for me, it was usually I would imagine myself doing something. I would know that was intuition. And sometimes I wouldn't believe myself and I would say, no, take it all away again. Take it all away. Okay, I'm going to empty my mind again. And again, even if my mind was only empty for 1 or 2 seconds, the intuition would drop in. And so when you have things happen in your life and you do wonder, why is this happening? You can get intuitive hits as to why it's happening, especially if you just kind of ask the question and then you release it and then the answer comes to you out of nowhere. Like you're not even really thinking about it, but all of a sudden the awareness comes in of, oh my gosh, that's why that happened. That's why that happened. Okay, it feels like they're wanting me to also talk about just smaller instances. I keep being shown how my last podcast episode with Lynn, it is called White Feathers, Missed Exits, and Energetic Breadcrumbs. And as it's listed, when I go to Apple and I click on my podcast, Embodying You, it is the one at the very top. And the way that it comes across is May 8:17. So when I looked at this earlier today to figure out what episode is this that I'm doing right now, like what episode number is it, is what I mean. When I looked at it, all I saw was 8:17. 8:17. 8:17 is my date of birth. Also, in numerology, I'm a life path 8 and a 7 destiny path. And for years now, I have been getting those two numbers, 8-7, in very big ways, very obvious ways, along with other numbers. But 8-17 or 8-7-1 or some version of 8-1-7 has been coming in over and over and over and over and over again. And so when I first started noticing that I was getting some version of 8-1-7 over and over and over again, I mean, seriously, in some really crazy, ridiculous ways, repeated. Sometimes it was almost overwhelming because I would get the sign and I would feel it. I would feel like it was really a sign meant for me. And then I'd get it again, and then I'd get it again. And it when it first started happening like that, where signs started coming in, boom, 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 it used to overwhelm me a little bit. But what that came to mean to me is you are on, like, whatever it is you're thinking about when you see it, whatever it is you're doing, contemplating, you are on the right track. This is your life path, destiny path. And that one is all about new beginnings. And okay, so part of why they're wanting me to bring that in is that is even, mostly I would see it on license plates, but not always. So I could say to myself, oh, well, 817 when I look at my podcast. I mean, okay, no. That's not for me. That's not a sign for me because I mean, we can make up all sorts of excuses. Well, actually it's May 8th, right? It came out on May 8th and it's a 17th episode. And as I'm saying this, it's sounding kind of ridiculous in my head, but at the same time, like that's like it almost feels like I'm going on and on about it is what I mean. But that's the way we've been taught to think. We have been taught to not trust ourselves. We have been taught to ignore signs, ignore synchronicities. They're not real. They don't matter. I don't matter. Oh, I was thinking just this morning, I was reflecting on a time in my life. I might have been a teenager. It feels like it was potentially late teenage years that I had a point in my life where I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if I'm not a celebrity or a singer, a professional singer, then I don't matter. I don't matter. I grew up with People magazine all over the place and watching Entertainment Tonight all the time. And I loved them. I kept those things up for a very, very long time. But what it did, and my soul wanted this, by the way, my soul wanted to have these moments of believing that they mattered more than me. Believing that the only way I mattered is if I had a status as a famous person. I mean, I remember very clearly as a kid, I wanted to be a singer. And if you haven't already heard it, I do have an episode where I talk about healing the voice and some of the different traumas that I had in regards to my voice. That's like me even being here on this podcast, sharing openly, sharing on Instagram, things like that. It's all because of all of the throat opening work that I have done and really coming into a great love of myself. So not just throat opening, because honestly, it's opening up everything, really. It's opening up all of the chakras, all the parts of the body. And again, unveiling our true selves, like uncovering our true selves. So I was able to more uncover my true voice. And so anyway, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a famous singer. And I remember getting upset when Tiffany came out. I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. Tiffany sings that. I was like, well, crap. I can't be Tiffany now. Then at some point, my mom fell in love with Heart. Oh my gosh. I still love Heart so much. It's that old rock band and it's a female singing. Alone. I'm trying to, I wasn't wanting to sing that, but my guides like to play with me where when I don't want to, they just kind of keep giving it to me until I sing it or say it, and they won't give me anything else. And again, on some level, I agreed to this as a part of healing my throat chakra, because here I am singing on my podcast. And I remember getting so upset. I was like, I probably did not say son of a bitch, but I remember thinking or feeling, son of a bitch. Now I can't have a band named Heart, even though my last name is Hart. I was asking just now, because I paused this for a moment. I was asking because it felt like I was left on a cliffhanger. I was like, so what is this about? What am I supposed to be saying here? And they were bringing in that a lot of the times that I was seeing this sign on license plates that I could say, oh, it's just a license plate. Oh, there are probably thousands of cars with 817 on it in some way. This is just a coincidence. A lot of the times when I was seeing that, it was when I was in the car doing work on my voice, when I was singing a song at the top of my lungs, when I was, they're actually showing me that there have been more than once where I was thinking about doing a podcast. Because you guys, I thought about doing a podcast for years before doing this one. I even recorded episodes. I had a podcast with a friend in our minds, and we recorded episodes, probably 3 or 4 episodes. We never put them out. I have the podcast that I did right before this that has 3 episodes called Embodying Wholeness. And that one was meant to end for like the upgrade and up level that happened after that. And I wasn't meant to open it back up on the Embodying Wholeness podcast. But what I'm saying is this, there have been many times that I have gotten the sign that you are very powerfully on the right track here. Look, destiny path, life path. This is a very powerful thing for you. And they are wanting me to like tell you a little bit. I'm hearing that some of you are going to wonder what the 8 and the 7 is about. So the 8, I'm just going to sum it up really quick because this is going to be a short and sweet episode, at least short and sweet for me because, I tend to go an hour or more. But the 8 is about influence, power, and material wealth. Those are the 3 major themes of the 8, according to the numerologist that I have learned from. And so, and it's a very, they just keep bringing in the word powerful, powerful, powerful. So, right. So when it talks about like, say, power, it's not power over. That's something that we've been taught. That's very toxic. No, it's personal power. It's how do you feel into your own personal power? And if you even think about my brand and what I'm all about fucking empowering you all. I don't even mean to do it, but that is what I hear over and over again from people, and especially from clients and those who have worked with me multiple times. They tell me they feel very empowered by me because I'm not keeping it all to myself. Anytime I can teach them how to do something, how to do their own energy clearing, how to do whatever it is, I do because I don't want anybody dependent on me, right? And then material wealth. What I hear is that if you are an 8 life path and you are on your highest path, you're definitely going to experience some sort of wealth in your life. Now, I have wealth in other ways other than cash in my bank account right now. But I've had this really interesting journey with money and abundance and learning that. And then they're saying that's enough about the 8. And then the 7, the 7 is my destiny path. So it's the way that I am meant to go about my life. So if my life path is the 8, and that is the like trajectory that I'm on, is experiencing a major up level, upgrade, lessons in money, power, and wealth, then the destiny path of the 7 is, besides the master number 11, the 7 is the most spiritual number. And guess what? I was so, it helped me understand myself so much more when I saw this. This 7 is about gaining spiritual experiences, gaining spiritual knowledge, and then combining it into something new. So again, the clients who work with me, I am still in the middle of doing this, and I will probably never stop, to be honest with you. But I have learned so many different things, so many different modalities, plus my own innate gifts, the gifts that I have come onto the planet with that just naturally come out of me when I'm in session or working on myself. I am combining everything that I've learned. I'm not just, oh, here's this one modality that I learned, I'm sticking to that no matter what. And that's fine. I mean, we need people that do that, but we also need people who combine it. And and then spread it to the world. And then spread it to the world. So again, even with something like seeing numbers on license plates or billboards, or there are so many different ways I've gotten 817, honestly, including, again, like my last podcast episode, which I had never seen it like that. So it wasn't until right before I got on here to speak to you all that I even saw that. And for a moment, my brain said, oh, I put that up there August 17th. Like my mind just didn't compute at first until I realized, no, wait. Oh my gosh. And it also tells me something about that episode too, because I got the most feedback that I've ever gotten so far from that episode, because people really enjoyed it. So if you haven't listened to that one, episode 17, feel free to go back and check it out. It's one we talk about so much. We talk about pizza delivery people. We talk about weed brownies. We talk about dark energies. We talk about animals dying and being a death doula. It is such a good episode with my friend Lynn. That is it for today. If you feel the resonance with me, I definitely invite you in to a session with me. You can do single sessions and we can uncover things. We can really help you understand why something's happening, clear energy around it, and help set you up for just help clear energy. Once you clear energy, it doesn't come back. You've cleared it. And then I also bring in your own essence and your own energy to fill in those spaces, because they are for a little bit like energetic holes, and we need help integrating. And then if you want to really and powerfully speed up your timeline, come into a longer container with me. I'm about to change it to Unveiled, but right now it's called Answered Prayer, the Answered Prayer Mentorship. I'm about to just call it Unveiled, the Unveiled container, because that's what we're doing. We're unveiling the real you. And my client, Mika, you can also go back to her episode where she talks about how she truly feels like the 3 months that we worked together from January to March were like 10 years in talk therapy. She had talked about how she doesn't even recognize who she is now compared to who she was. And this is for the better. And she talks about it there. There's actually 2 episodes with her, just because part of her soul path is to be seen. And she's very magnetic, and she's just a beautiful soul and a beautiful person, and also very physically beautiful too. And so beauty's in the eye of the beholder. They're wanting me to pause for a second, because physical beauty, it really is in the eye of the beholder. Anyone can be beautiful or handsome, and we all choose how we look physically, including me choosing this as I start to really come out into the world and be more visible. I've chosen this as part of my soul path to work through. And when I say this, for those of you who are not watching the video, I have redness on my cheeks. And in fact, they flared up last weekend. So I'm also in a flare coming on here speaking to you. But we have all come here to look exactly as we look. So know that nothing about you is an accident. Your soul, your highest self, God chose all of it. And we're here to learn to love ourselves more. Okay. So if you all have any questions, please feel free to reach out, DM me on Instagram. I love you. Mwah. Thank you. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe and leave a review so others can find this show too. Your support helps this community grow and brings more voices into the conversation. Plus, I would love to hear your biggest takeaway. Thank you so much.